the outlook for the cannabis industry as a whole in 2022 and beyond is expanding. It is already the fastest growing consumer packaged good service out there in the marketplace today. And in 2022, with the midterm elections coming up, you're seeing a lot more states that are looking to expand their existing programs and new states actually entering the market. So we're looking at 45, 46 states will have a cannabis business in 2022 and beyond. And when you look at that opportunity for the financial institutions, you're talking about 100 billion plus total addressable market that has a compound annual growth rate of 30+%. And so these businesses, legitimate businesses, are right outside your door looking for access to financial services that you could provide. And so the opportunity for true integrated partnerships and to be able to grow together and support the communities is present, and it's only going to continue to grow and scale. When a bank is considering entering the cannabis space, what they really have to think of is how does this cannabis new line of business fit into their entire business operation as a specific line of business. You have to look at your existing risk policies, the policies and procedures. What type of businesses do you want to work with? Direct or indirect. You may say we only want to do CBD or hemp. You may say we want to be a marijuana focused business, but we don't want to work with a dispensary. We only want to work with a grower or a cultivator. So choice becomes key. And with the what, you have to, again, integrate that into your operations. So your BSA, your AML, your risk team has to understand, okay, this is what we decided to do, and this is the type of business we're going to go after. And then you have to be able to manage that risk. And then you have to be able to identify the types of accounts that you're doing. And then you have to look at the transactions that you're doing and how does that integrate into your core system and what reporting is required. But you don't want to do that in a project fashion. Okay. And that's unfortunately what happens a lot of times. People take these segmented approaches. You want to have a whole program in place so that you're looking at every type of business, every product and service, and every opportunity, and how is it going to scale? Because the cannabis industry continues to grow at this compounded growth rate, and all of a sudden you don't want to look at your concentration ratios and say, what happened? How did this get so big? So you want to make sure you have all those control mechanisms in place as well. So the what, the why, the how, all have to be integrated. So as banks look at cannabis as a line of business, there are some changes that are actually going to happen within the financial institution. But how do you control those and create those so that they're allowed to grow and change at scale, not just for today, but for the future? Because the rules and regulations are changing in this industry at a state and a federal level. So you want to make sure that you have something that's sustainable from a program perspective. But the real initial change is that your compliance team now can become a profit center for you from a financial institution. And that's a different way of thinking when you start looking at a new line of business with a high risk industry. But wait, my compliance is not going to be an expense, it's an opportunity for profit. And so when we work with the C-suites and boards of financial institutions, and we present what this opportunity looks like on a fully loaded basis, and they see the size of the market, and they see the changes that are there, but the changes are actually facilitating growth, and that should be tied to the strategy of the bank as well. Not just this separate project or little sideline business, should be tied to the strategy of the bank and their growth. It has a profound impact on their way of thinking. So as we talk to different financial institutions across the country, C-suites, boards of directors, publicly traded banks, down to a small credit union in a community, we always ask them, well, why do you want to do this? What is it that you're looking to gain out of it? And their questions vary. And some are, well, we already have a high value client that we want to just retain. Or others are, we realize that this is a large strategic market opportunity that we want to pursue. But you can't just give it that sort of zero context base, right? It all comes down to the financial model and what is it going to actually deliver for them and deliver for those folks as clients. And so the why and what is it that you want to accomplish all have to be defined before you start your program. Don't start a program from a manual perspective and then say you're going to figure it out as you go along. It doesn't work. And the examiners don't like that, by the way. And the audit firms are going to come in and look at your operations and say, well, how are you actually doing this? How are you monitoring these accounts? So really begin with the definition. understand why, and then you'll be able to move your program forward at your own control, at your own pace, and at the scale that you wish to see the results from.